각성한 BBQ가 돼보겠습니다.
너네 다 튀겨버릴 거야.
거기다가 승강전이라는 무대가 엄청 달가우셨을 거라고는 생각하지 않는데 열심히 노력해서 다시는 이런 상황에서 힘들게 직관 오시지 않게 최선을 다하고 더 열심히 해서 노력해보겠습니다.
Welcome back, everybody, to another fantastic warm summer evening here in Gangnam. We're here at SPO TV at the Nexon Arena, of course, for more LCK 2018 summer. I am Valdez. With me is Papa Smithy, kind of the MVP of this whole split. We'll see how your voice holds up. How are you feeling today?
Let's not hand out the MVPs before the season has started. As we've definitely got a subtitle here. Reveal Yourself is the title for SPO TV.
Yep.
And honestly, there's a lot to reveal. We've watched the LPL. We've seen other smaller regions. Mordekaiser mid lane, Bruises in the bot lane, the Yasuo we already showed you on the screen. There's a lot to understand about 2018 LCK Summer. I'm just hyped to get into it.
There have been a couple of matches that we've been able to watch, right? OPL, LPL. We kind of got our little taste of what 8.11 is going to be like, but we haven't seen it in Korea just yet. Welcome back, guys. We are here, Valdez and Papa Smithy, as always, for SPO TV. But as we were talking about, it's going to be fantastic, right? It's going to be Korea. There's going to be some crazy stuff, especially because MVP is playing today, and they are known to take the meta and just throw it around. And it's going to be a lot of fun, Papa.
But it's not really Korea as we've known it for so long. It's the first split. We're not coming off being the #1 ranked team at an international event since, what, 2015 LCK Summer. So it's a different time, and maybe there'll be more desperate teams. It's the summer season, so it's the much more the business end of the season. Teams want to qualify for Worlds. Nothing is set in stone. And even the meta, like you say, basically all our papers are thrown in the air, and we're going to learn what the Koreans think. Will we just have ranged AD carries? Or will we have very much the bruisers that are dominating in high elo?
Yeah, there seem to be some AD carries that are still hanging around, obviously.
Lucian.
Kai'Sa. Lucian is the big one that's like just a set AD carry. You got Ezreal popping in, Zyra Khan. But either way, guys, we're going to go ahead and introduce our teams before we get too far ahead of ourselves. BBQ Olivers looking to fry the game tonight. And they will be our first team playing here. And they do have the roster that you guys are known for seeing, but a new name pops up. Ares going to be taking over the role in the AD carry role. And, well, the AD carry role, they don't necessarily play AD carry, so maybe he's a specific guy who's going to come in here and play something new, Papa.
Ares is previously on iGaming Star in Challengers Korea in 2017. He actually had spring off, so just been playing in solo queue, very highly ranked. Another player who's going to probably have, like you say, have to try his hands at something new, especially if we see that creme de la creme of AD carries right now. The Ezreal, the Kai'Sa, the Lucian get banned. Saw that in the LPL yesterday. Then the next side is probably going to be some of those other bruisers. Looking at the information here, loving the overlays we have at SPO TV.
Oh, yeah.
BBQ, previously ESC Ever, kind of been those perennial underdogs. The Kesper Cup victory certainly was an underdog victory. They've been around a while. They brought in those EULCS imports, as we talked about in Trick. And, of course, Ignar starting today. Didn't find any results from it, and now you look at BBQ and say, with Griffin coming in and expected to rise, somebody's got to fall to the relegation spots.
Yeah, and 8th place is not necessarily safe. It was safe for dodging relegation, just barely, but we'll see if they can do better this time around. MVP, one of the teams that did, unfortunately, fall to relegation, but they did make it out. And for you guys who are wondering who's Yondu, well, it's Beyond. He changed his name to Yondu, and of course, Pilot is going to be starting tonight instead of Maha.
Yondu's hair has regrown ever since he got so stressed at being in the relegation matches that he shaved his hair off. The hair is back, but like you say, it was a player who technically debuted early, I believe, in the LMS, and thus Beyond no longer. He's now Yondu, which Guardians of the Galaxy fans will remember from Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. So new name, see if there's a new look for him. New look for ADD a bit in solo queue. He's been top 3 solo queue, currently ranked number 2 in Challenger, was rank 1 recently, still playing the ADD stuff, but he's been lighting up the charts, and we'll see if that sort of form translates in the LCK.
Certainly hope so. He kind of struggled towards the end of spring, and even for the majority of spring, I have to say. It wasn't really the ADD that we knew from 2017, who was bringing in the weird picks, drawing in specific bans towards champions such as Sion and similar stuff like that. So we'll see if he can actually channel that solo queue into the competitive play. And guys, we do have a new patch. No surprise to anyone. Let's go over it a bit,
It's
Papa.
been a few patches. 8.8 was what we played at MSI. I was there at that final. And the game's changed again, Valdez. We're changing the game every couple of patches. Thank you, Riot Games. Got something new. A lot of nerfs towards AD carries. One of the big reasons, can't poke out anybody in bot lane. So a lot of non-traditional carries. That Infinity Edge is now much more of a multiplier than a rushable item. We've got new stuff like the Storm Razor you're seeing, the new items and changes in items. I love this little graphic at the bottom, which talks about what was played in the LCK and what we're seeing from the players in solo queue. So on the right here, you see the top 5 played by LCK players on their visible accounts in solo queue recently. You see a Mordekaiser, you see a Yasuo, you see the 380 carries that will be contested. And after that, who knows, Valdez, we could have some crazy stuff.
We could literally have anything, right? We've been seeing a lot of Vlad down in the bottom side. You were talking about Vlad Soraka being pretty good against the Yasuo Alistar that we see every once in a while. The most fun thing for me that comes with these new patches that change the way in the game in such a big way is that the whole entire meta changes. The bot lane as a whole has changed, and we're going to see new stuff come in to counter each other, and it's going to create this really fun new meta.
And we have the BBQ Oliver. So the storyline here is one that has been very well highlighted by Spo TV, is that BBQ, had pretty decent. They beat Kingzone, one of only a couple of teams that beat Kingzone in the LCK spring. It was only them in the second round robin, and of course in the first round robin it was good old KSV at the time who picked up the victories there, big upset victory, but yet they're on a 5-match losing streak against MVP, a team who was hapless, of course, for majority of spring. So this is a matchup that MVP have dominated. Win, lose, just fight. Let's say one thing about MVP. If you're wondering who's going to be playing support mid lane and a carry jungle or trying crazy stuff, this team lives and breathes insanity. We could see some awesome stuff from MVP.
It's not even just out of the mid lane. They have a guy in the bottom lane. The support player, Max, he was the guy who was known to play so many different picks. We had to make a giant list of them. We actually had a CG come up and say, this guy has played 14 different champions in the support role, so who knows what he's going to bring. He's the mastermind of the bot lane, and I would expect some really weird stuff to come out of them and MVP.
I mean, I made a full document of what people have been playing in solo queue recently, because it's all about 8.11. It's all about the early game. Tempt has always been the reliable one on BBQ. This is a guy who I could think to walk into basically every team in the world, but maybe the top 5 or 6, and be a starter. He's a fantastically talented player. Didn't have a great spring. Then we have Ian on the other side, who really, by the end of the season, was in good form. Was finding Mastery on Champions. He was on 0-8, 0-9 at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
All about spring matters, but doesn't matter when it's the first day of summer. We're going to learn about the new patch. We're also going to learn about 2 teams who honestly want to get themselves to 5 wins as fast as possible and get themselves out of any dogfight at the bottom of the table.
Yeah, this is one of the matches that they absolutely have to win, especially for BBQ. Who knows, if they didn't lose the 2 games to MVP in spring, they might have ended up in 7th place, 6th place. Maybe with that momentum, they could have had a bit more. So they're trying to get off on the right foot here as our MVP. So guys, pick and ban is ready. Let's jump into that right now.
All right, LCK.
Here we go.
Summer 2018 meta. Reveal yourself as a Nocturne ban. It's a little bit of a departure, but not. This is actually a flex ban also. Plenty of Nocturne jungle, of course, but also that mid lane Nocturne will be considered. 80 wave pushing, the ability to kill turrets, and then the burst damage. 80 champions are very strong in a snowball meta. The other big one, which we will definitely see contested in the future, is Talon.
Yep, you say the future. We haven't seen too much of it just yet. Maybe a bit on solo queue, but not really hitting the competitive scene just yet.
Fly's back, and Fly was a Talon player back in the KT days. He'll be considering other players practicing it. Camille gets a ban. First picked in a lot of games in the LPL, still a flex pick, level 2 junglers, and of course Camille level 2 is fearsome.
Yeah.
We're going to have to play a bit of the waiting game to understand the meta, because I feel like Korea will have a different understanding to other regions. It's really up in the air right now.
It truly is, but one thing that stays consistent for now is really strong level 2 junglers. And Talia making her way from the mid lane into the jungle, finds a ban herself. And Aurelia right now, super strong. I'll let you talk about her. She is pretty much a required ban as well.
And if you notice, we're banning the blind pickable stuff. Camille, first pick every day because of her flex pick nature and the fact that she can lane. Aurelia mid is probably the safest blind pick of any champion. So it is a smart ban away here. The first pick is so up in the air. It could have been Graves, who's been dominating solo queue and then some for a long time.
Oh, there it is.
Oh boy, Nunu Karthus is coming
right
out
away.
on the blue side. They want Nunu Karthus. MVP has been playing it in solo queue. To me, the only reason you'd first pick the Nunu is take the Karthus, and we might have Tariq E against it. We're getting it.
It's happening.
We're popping off in the first game.
The first game of LCK 2018 summer, and we're going to get it right away. Karthus gets locked
crap.
in. There is no secret as to what's going on now. The teams have revealed themselves, and we're going to get to see it in game number 1.
Well, tell your friends, we're getting some interesting Gouda today. The cheese is out. Both of them looking to dodge and follow the jungler. And then the strongest possible AD carry available is certainly the Lucian. Prey has been rocketing up the spots with Lucian in the bot lane. Smite mid lane, Karthus will be your first spotting. And given that we have the Tariq, it's probably a Lulu support, but that seems weird.
Yeah.
We'll wait and track. Are we getting something a bit different here from MVP? The Lulu hasn't been in the support role very much.
As we're saying before, guys, we need to wait and see. We need to see all 5 champions and exactly
we know where
who's
the
gonna
Nunu
play
and
them.
Karthus are going.
We know where they're going to go, but what about everything else? So many blind picks right now, so many flex pick, I should say. We are going to have Alistair coming through as a ban, as well as Vladimir.
In this spot, it's a little bit weird. Alistair's very powerful, because basically any bruiser on Alistair, if you get through the lane, it's God tier. Alistair Yasuo, the most famous. They've already locked Lucian. That could be a Lucian top. That is being played. Huni knows all about it, of course. The Pyke ban is an important one. Ignar has monster challenger on this Pyke. Pyke is rated very highly by Korean support. Sadly, won't be seeing it here, but we can't complain. We do have Nunu Karthus and Tariq Yi.
There's probably one guy sitting back at home like, oh man, I really wanted to see Pyke. I'm like, sit down, man. We got enough here already, and we're not just done yet. Swain gonna be banned out too. Kind of an interesting one. Haven't seen too much of him.
So ostensibly we have mid lane and jungle and bot, but we really don't know when it comes to the Lulu. Need more information. The Ornn also has been played in the bot lane role, previously AD carry. We're talking a lot more about bot this season, Valdez. That's going to be our lingo. Ziggs bot, the most famous old example, but who knows where Ornn is going. It's probably ADD. Still probably going to be a top lane pick, but we're not 100% clear on that. Patch 8.11, weird and wonderful. Ignar has played the support Shen, but Shen into Ornn top lane has been a big thing. The thing is, these teams also are leaving themselves open to doing a lot of swapping because there is so much flex pick. You need all the picks to come down. I actually think red side is heavily favored because of the fact that you really only know where champions are going when 10 champions are locked in.
After the enemy team picks all 5, then you might have an idea. Gragas gets taken here.
Of course he does, yeah.
What?
The Gragas pick.
Where is this going to go exactly?
There's a lot of support Gragas in solo queue.
Okay, I guess that must be it, right?
Yes.
It could be top.
A couple of Korean supports have played support Gragas. That'd be my expectation. But again, where are we going? We're finding out now. Fiddle support is a pretty big thing. All right.
There you go.
All right, we still have to think about this, though, and understand everything that's happening. There is no ranged AD here. Just to be clear, it could be an on-hit Lulu on the MVP side. It could also be an Ornn in the bot lane role. This is 20 seconds needs to hurry up and come because we're learning.
I think this is going to be it. Just
Lulu
like you're saying,
carry.
on hit, yeah.
On hit Lulu.
In the bot with
Rageblade
Fiddle.
Lulu is very powerful.
Yeah, you get that in the bottom lane, and Fiddle's poke alongside Lulu's poke there's not really a good bot lane to go up against that. Lucian is pretty
melee
good.
support,
but
Gragas, he looks at this and he's like, what is this rubbish? What am I supposed to do against double ignite Lulu Fiddle in the bot lane?
Yeah.
MVP have certainly a priority lane in bot. And guys, I know it's all crazy. It's going to take a long time to lock in, but red side is powerful because lane priority, the early game, is even stronger than it was before. And just being able to say double range, double ignite, lane priority in bot lane, that means something when it comes to scuttles, when it comes to how the game flows. This is all about the bot lane, and Pilot says, I'm going to play some Lulu.
Yeah, well, the motto of this season, guys, is reveal yourself, and it seems like BBQ and MVP have done just that to start it off here. Game number 1. This is just about all you could ask for.
This looks like it's a practice game. The observer's like, yeah, we'll just play fun stuff. No, this is the meta right now.
Taric bot in the mid lane somehow gets a kill on Karthus bot. That's what you would expect, but this is reality. You might show this to your friends who haven't tuned in a while, and they're like, what the hell is going on? This can't be real. And then you're like, no, no, no. Just tune into LCK. It's real.
Let it waft over you. This is the new meta. Exhaust Taric mid. Double jungling. It's all happening.
Here we go, guys. The countdown has started. I'm just ready to get into the game. Let's do it. Let's jump onto the Rift right now. The fanciers are back, and they're more excited than ever to get this started. It almost feels like a new game when you look at something like this. This is just not what anyone is used to. And here we go. BBQ going to start off with some level 1 shenanigans.
So there's a lot to unpack in this particular game because of what's happening, but level 1 is something I want the viewers to understand is even more critical than before. When both teams have jungle follows, where the mid laner is going to be following the jungler to power up the jungler CS high, knowing what camps they're starting on, even what side the jungle on, is even more important than in the past. Pilot's actually being flanked by Ignar, who's waiting for his E cooldown.
He's in a lot of trouble here. There's the stun ignite and the flash stun as well with the taunt. First blood to the Lucian in the bottom lane. Big start for BBQ.
And this is what Ignar does. He plays engage. He wanted Pyke this game. You know it, but wasn't able to pick it up. He goes for the Gragas. Very nice move coming around. Actually going to start control ward. This is smart pathing by ADD. Just walks down, clears the control ward. A lot to unpack. Give us a lot of time. There's been item changes. There's many things to talk about. But I want the first take-home message to be level 1. Knowing where the enemy started is so important. Speaking of starts, we got so much already happening.
This is why I'm laughing. Nobody's in the mid lane. It's just like, it's 2v2 in the jungle right now. Finally, the red buff Karthus moves into the mid lane, Papa.
So a lot of this stuff hasn't filtered down into pro play at lower elos. A Challenger, I was seeing a lot of this sort of stuff happening. Ian and Yondu were duo queuing and playing Taric Yi in solo queue. Didn't know they'd play it on the first day on competitive play, but they're doing it anyway. It's all about camp respawns, getting access to a lot of camps. Nunu counter jungling as Nunu's bound to do. For the start at least, we're not seeing Nunu and Karthus come together, but that will come later.
Yeah, you guys can see the runes, by the way, new thing we got going on. We show the entire rune page of every person in the game. So you can just check it out right there on the bottom if you're curious about anything.
The theory behind all this, why all of this insanity in the mid lane particularly happened, a lot of people know that Dopa was the one who tweeted about it, who complained about it, and a lot of people have taken notice what was the trend in Chinese solo queue. The follow-on effect, though, is that with all the nerfs targeted towards pushing ability, there's not a lot of mid laners who can just push early, so why not hyper farm up a Karthus, a Yi, by getting access to jungle camps? The enemy mid laner, if it's just one person, can't push in the wave fast enough to punish, so you're losing a couple of range minions, and you're getting an entire Raptor camp.
Yeah.
The respawn times are long. Usually Yi and Karthus were held in place for Yi's sake because he couldn't duel early. It took a long time to get his items. He gets them really damn fast now when he's getting jungle and mid lane CS. And for the Karthus, lost lane to a lot of different champions. Always was a fast jungle. We saw Karthus jungle meta for a hot second. Now the best of both worlds are coming, and this is the result.
Yeah, it's going to be a wild and crazy ride, so just hold on, guys, while we try to unpack everything. And we noticed that the 2v2 mid-jungle, they actually swapped Raptor camps, and Ian and Yondu left a couple over. So they missed a couple. You know, they're working with the timers of the Raptor. But one thing that's really important with a strategy like this, when you're dealing with this at all, is you really like to know when the timers of the camps come up.
Now, let's also talk about the order, because there's actually a relevance to the fact that Nunu was the first pick and not, say, Taric or Yi. And you might be like, okay, but Taric Yi was the first one. Why Nunu Karthus? If you've noticed, Karthus has been jungling alone. He's been, with Smite, able to take down the camps, and Nunu can do his Nunu thing and go and steal a red and steal single target camps. Nunu and Karthus don't need to duo. They can, in fact, go and take camps. They can take more camps on the map, while Taric and Yi, it's a Taric follow, so it's a different proposition.
Well, this is going to be a lot of fun. The one thing that doesn't really change amongst all of this craziness is the top lane. Remains tank versus tank, Ornn versus Shen. As boring as you'd like, I mean, this is just what we would have expected in 8.1, Papa.
It's one of those weird things where the top laners are like, hey, why don't we get new shiny new toys?
Yeah.
Where are our toys at? Well, we actually know they're coming on 8.12 with the new items. Sorry, guys, Riot was a bit slow for the top laners. You guys are left on an island again. It's fitting, I know. But your new toys are coming. I'm sure the meta will take another lovely... Well, what is the right turn from here? Isn't standard lanes normal from here? Wouldn't that be the craziest movement, Valdez?
I definitely agree. I just wonder if there's like a next step from here where teams are going to be like, well, we don't need to put 2 guys in the bottom lane at all. Let's like put 3 in the mid lane. Because when you open the meta up like this, you can get crazy stuff like this, which is just a slight change in the meta, right? There's no real AD carries anymore.
Yeah, the slight change, yeah.
Yeah, but we could get into something that's entirely different, right? You know, like 2v2 in the top lane, maybe 3v3 in the top lane. You never really know when such a big change like this does happen.
Of course, I'm reminded that the top lane patch has been delayed, sadly not 8.12 any longer, which unfortunate. Thanks to our producer for that. But I think the big takeaway here also is a lot of metrics of the past no longer are a thing. One thing, for example, is speaking about the speed of getting a certain AP value. Karthus and Nunu can actually hit close to 1,000 AP at 22 minutes, trivially. That's with getting a bit of extra kill gold, but given that nature, you can pick up so much early AP as Bono just holding the wave. He knows his role. I guess you kind of have to compare the Nunu CS with the Taric CS. Even the scoreboard's kind of outdated. You get debated looking at it. You're like, oh, what's this rubbish?
71
Flame
to
Horizon
9?
almost in the mid lane.
I know. We're only 6 minutes in. What the hell is going on? But yeah, you mentioned 22 minutes. That's another thing I think we should talk about. It seems like the games, they spiral out of control really fast, right? We saw a game in LPL yesterday that was 21 minutes. It felt normal for this new meta, right? And I think overall the game time is going to get a lot faster. And for Papa Smithy, that's the best news we could have ever got.
Short games are what's mooted. Now, I don't know if we really got that when there were the changes in the early patch 8 spring season. They didn't really get as short as you would want.
Yeah.
That's another big reason why the mid lane champion ball, that's when it settles. I think Taric Yi versus Nunu Karthus is probably an early season thing. I think when the meta settles a bit, whether Riot has to kind of ham-fist nerf things or things settle, I think we will see Snowball 80 carry mids. Not necessarily 80 carries, but 80 mids. So, for example, Talon, I think, will become a big pick. You're seeing a lot of different lethality stacking champions. It's all about how many long swords, how much extra damage you can get early game. Games are finishing early, so it doesn't matter if you have a full AD team. In fact, full AD teams are the most dominant in solo queue because they have the turret damage and the champion damage to just take the structures down and keep the game rolling.
You see that a lot. I mean, we are both playing on Korean solo queue, and right now it's just a lot of this,
It's weird and wonderful.
Right? You see Yasuo in like every single game. Irelia, if she doesn't get banned, she's there too, like every single time. Fiddlestick support, super popular in Korea. It's just a lot of what we're used to, but a lot of what we're not used to as well, as it's still relatively new. We are going to have the first strike of the game being taken here by Yandu and Ian.
Looking at the farm numbers, you can see that Master Yi is behind Karthus. That's how you have to read these. I know it's awkward, but those are the hard carries. Karthus, you need no introduction when it comes to hyperscaling into the late game. Do note that Pilot and Max haven't been able to open up a big lead as double ranged and bot. Speaking of bot,
oh boy, Pilot in a lot of trouble. Don't even need the Karthus ult as he is going to get engaged upon for the second time. And there you go, Ignar probably calling that one out. A team effort in that one to take him down.
and that's what happens when you take them down at level 1 and then the laning phase doesn't go to plan for the side of MVP. You're not getting any jungle attention if you are MVP because Taric and E are a hard duo. Nunu can open himself up to visits, but Ignar has the engage, pulls off the move. Very nicely done by the side of BBQ.
Certainly a good play. Let's take a look at the replay here. Ignar hits level 6, and they go for it right away. They have the Karthus ult just in case, but they actually didn't even need it. Perfect execution. The Lulu ultimate comes in, but it was just enough damage. Lucian also saving his ult. Didn't even need to use that. Better to just cycle his abilities.
You know, as one of these players who looked at these changes and no doubt his mouth was watering. This guy was playing engage out of meta. Now with the meta being so many different things, it feels like almost outside of top lane, you can kind of play whatever you want and make it work because so many archetypes are just unexplored right now. No one really knows what the highest ticket thing is. Nunu Karthus was the choice here. And we're definitely going to be able to look at those AP values in about 10 minutes and understand the why of that. We already see the Runic Echo has been complete, which got buffed on this patch up to 80 AP. It's now actually more stat efficient, gold efficient than Warrior Enchant, where Warrior Enchant always used to give so much AD on completion that it was highly gold efficient. The extra 20 AP and removing the Lost Chapter being an awkward buy has made Runic Echo even stronger, so Jungle Karthus even stronger here.
He's having a lot of fun. You guys can look at the creep score numbers, and all of a sudden, 137 for Yi is normal at 10 minutes. That's the new norm. Ult's going to come in out to Pilot. He does have his flash. Going to wait until the last second and use that to get away.
That's beautifully done by Ignar. Put down the Q, was able to knock him into a path where the only thing he could path through was the barrel on the ground. Beautiful mechanics by Ignar. Consider that BBQ have a diverse damage portfolio as the game goes on. MVP are actually Master Yi only. It's not even going to be Rage Blade. It's a Rod of Ages AP Lulu just to give another knock-up, health, and sustain to the Master Yi, whereas Karthus and Lucian, that's huge physical and magic damage. Lucian is considered the strongest AD carry in this current meta, abuses Essence Reaver in just some unspeakable ways. Speaking of unspeakable,
we're going to have our first 2v2 fight. The Taric ultimate comes down, and Bono is just going to get demolished. Tempt is going to go down too. Even burns his flash, unfortunately. Will be ulting here, but Max is going to survive. And now Ignar on the run. Really nowhere for him to go. Should be an easy 3-for-0 for MVP here.
Maybe you only need one. Maybe Master Yi is truly the chosen one. He's got 3.
He's already going to do it. Red Buff and Yandu going to get 3 kills, 3-0, 142 CS. And by God, when he goes back, what is this Yi going to be doing here in 5 minutes?
He's going to build a Rage Blade. That's what he's going to do. Master Yi's going. Oh, boy. Maybe you only need one. Here's the replay. And the moment that the Highlander was hit, you knew it was coming.
He just turned around. Bono just went in and did not respect the Yi's damage at this point.
I mean, Bono's also level 7 Nunu. The sad snowball wasn't going to do the work. The flash down from the Karthus is actually pretty big, given that Karthus needs to die in a preferable spot in a team fight. Shen's shield just not big enough, sadly. All right, we've got a fun season in store.
We do. You think about the future fights, right? You can already see what's happening before Yi is truly fed. I guess they're going to be relying on Lucian to do a lot of that upfront damage and then Karthus to finish them off as we go on later. I mean, he can die and that's fine, but you just got to protect Lucian from this Master Yi that's going to be gunning for him.
Now describe it to me. What does that look like, protecting from a Master Yi with invulnerability?
It doesn't look like anything to me, Papa.
He needs to not be there, I think, for the majority of the Highlander and especially the majority of the invulnerability. That's the thing about Master Yi. It's the thing that has frustrated players, especially at lower elo for a long time, is that once he gets going, he really gets going. And the Rage Blade on next back is 100% guaranteed. He hasn't shopped yet. It's a little bit more expensive. He's going to be a fearsome proposition, and the taunt has to be on point from Crazy.
It has to be. And look at this. He's just going to dive underneath the turret. Does he even care? Okay, the Zhonya's is going to come through. That stopwatch keeps Tempt alive. but I almost feel like that was Yondu just playing with his food at this point.
You know how we had a 94-minute game and we talked about how that could never be recreated? Are you ready for some of the CS discrepancies between mid and support? The Flame Horizon and a half, I kid you not, at 13 minutes.
13 minutes, guys. I mean, we could honestly see this game end in 7-8 minutes. If Yondu gets another good team fight with a perfect Taric ultimate, and he gets in there and he really gets in there, you know, we're talking like 3-4 more kills. This game could be over, guys.
And it's awkward because, yeah, the buy of the Rage Blade this early is obscene damage. You don't CC this man, he kills your whole team. This is exactly what will happen. It's very, very on point to expect this Master Yi to pentakill at some point in this game. The Rod of Ages comes in at 14 minutes on the 0-2 loot. Doesn't matter. It's a bit of extra ability power, but it's all beyond. It's all Yondu, as we have to call him now.
Yep.
New name, new look, and MVP is certainly going to be setting him up completely for survival, except, we're fast-forwarding some damage numbers, I
So
guess.
there is one thing that the top lane still does have. Orin is top in damage ahead of the 3-0 Master Yi. So there you go, top laners. You got something. Taric, 0 damage. That explains pretty much all of that. He's just going to be playing around with the Yi. That's all he's going to do. Infernal Drake, very importantly, does go over to BBQ. But again, does the extra damage really help? The one thing, as you said before, that they truly need is CC on Master Yi.
You would say, over the history of League of Legends, mid lane has been the most important role. There was at least 3 seasons to start when mid lane was the only important role for many cases. Literally, Ian's job is he's never going to auto-attack. He doesn't have to use W after the first time. He's not going to put Bastion on anyone that's not Master Yi. He's already locked that in earlier. He literally just presses Q, E, and R. Q a lot of times because it has a low cooldown. If he times his E well and his R well, his job is done. Pack it up, Ian. You've done your job.
That's it. You just have to have good positioning, survive.
Do not mess up that ultimate.
Don't die, and good positioning, and have a good ultimate. And here we go again. Level 12 Master Yi, and the ultimate's going to come down. Run for your lives, BBQ. You're not going to get out of this one. A double kill for Yondu. And that's going to do it, guys. I don't know what to say. Most of the team fights in the future are going to look just like that.
The CC is there. The Master Yi is unkillable. Goodbye, BBQ. Nice start, but the Yi turned on with 3 kills. Rageblade already finished his second item. He's popping off.
I mean, you got to be careful even under this turret, right? You don't have the Taric ultimate, but as you said, Rageblade 5-0-1. What are you going to do? You have the damage from Tempt and Ares, but if you can't deal damage...
Now, I want to point out an important mechanic.
Yeah.
Zonia stasis the same time as Taric ultimate invulnerability. I think we need some more stasis on this side because when this Yi starts walking, doesn't matter if you're a tank in Crazy or Bono, who's basically an Alpha Strike and Death, you die.
I love how on previous patches during replays, you'd kind of pick it apart, right? You'd give us the in-depth analysis. Now you're like, well, I hope you buy some Zonias during the Taric
I got
ultimate.
a bit southern. I'm Australian, actually, Brendan. We've casted together for a while, but hard-hitting analysis need not apply when the Master Yi starts coming in, the invulnerability comes down. Ian, so far, on point. His ultimates have not been too late. His whole job is done.
He's gotten 2 or 3 of them so far. That's about all you need. And the one thing that I think about in the back of my mind is, did Riot plan this? I sincerely doubt it. But where do you go from here, right? Do you just leave it for now and you're like, okay, let's see where this goes? Or do you want to like make a return back into relevant meta or the past meta? You guys can see the damage from the last fight. That's just about all we got there.
We might need to consult Riot Games and message them and ask, if MVP go on to win, does Ian have the least damage dealt in a victory? Because he's probably going to end this game in the 3 figures.
In the 3 figures? Did he even have any damage?
He had like 30 damage in the last fight. That's close to 100 eventually.
Could be in the 2 figures here, Papa. I mean, we're just literally talking about only stun damage here. I mean, I don't think he even autoed in that last fight.
And as we know, his stun is like optional, right? It doesn't really matter if he misses it.
Yeah, he doesn't even really need it if we're serious with each other.
I mean, the redemption, like maybe, but like again, the ultimate. We overrated this Taric. Maybe just R is all Ian has to press. Come on, Ian, keep that R button ready.
Yeah. Don't press it at the wrong time, though. You don't want to jump the gun here. Also getting redemption just in case, right? You know, just in case something goes wrong and the Master Yi needs a little bit more health.
Well, Yondu is at 255 CS. More CS than the Karthus, who farms faster than he does, which is very impressive. He has a QSS now, just in case.
You know, well, you talked about how CC is the one counter, but at this point, I think the one real counter
He has
is a ban.
10,000 gold earned.
Yeah. 10,000 at 1850. Well, that's just disgusting. Picks up a Hex Drinker.
Well, you know what we won't be doing tonight? Duo queuing and Korean solo queue without banning good old Master Yi. You know very well that I was a Master Yi banner before it was cool.
Yeah, you were. Also a Vlad banner.
That's true.
You see a lot of Vlad,
Recently,
too.
I'm a Mundo banner.
Yeah.
He goes where he pleases a bit too much. Rift Herald got some very big buffs that are kind of not really spoken about. Now he does a minimum of 1,500 damage on a charge, even if he has no health. So if he charges, bad things happen. Speaking of a charge!
Here we go, all the CC in the world, and at this point, it's just a foregone conclusion. As you guys could have guessed what would have happened. Yondu ends up with another kill, and Max kind of makes a flash in the pan and says, hey, but by the way, I'm playing Fiddlesticks, isn't this cool? Actually, nobody cares, Max. We're all talking about Master Yi and Tarek.
When do Kale and Twitch come out is my question, because there's other ones than just the two we're seeing here. We were impressed with the early game prowess of Tempt and Bono, who got access to more camps. You understood, you said, okay, this is making sense, But then Tarek Yi got one fight. And in solo queue, a lot of people have their own moments. I'm sure Twitch Chat can talk about their experiences with Master Yi and Tarek. A lot of different things have happened. This is a new feature we have over here, is seeing those 3 kills. You can see them. X marks the spot for Master Yi this game. It was 2 fights around the bottom of the screen, around the Drake, and also the top of the screen. Really cool stuff here from Spo TV. And honestly, those 2 things don't happen, this game could be a lot more even. But critical mass came so early, comically early. 10,000 gold at 18 minutes early, and now team comps don't matter. Master Yi is going to do all the work.
Yep, I mean, when you're in the lower levels, right, bronze, silver, gold, you'll see a lot of people trying to climb the ladder with Master Yi.
And you fail the turret dive.
Yeah, that's without a Tarek, that's without a Lulu, and Ornn for CC. They do that because once he takes off and gets fed, like you said earlier, he can carry the game even without all of this extra stuff. But then you see it here in the pro level with Tarek, with Lulu, with the Ornn CC. It's pretty fantastic. And again, the same principle applies. Don't feed the Master Yi early.
And the Master Yi, because he's so far ahead, doesn't even need to build damage. That's the scariest thing here, is that because he was so far ahead, after the Rage Blade, his buys in order have been QSS into first a Hex Drinker and now more. He knows that if he's living, the game's over, they've won it. So he's able from ahead to build defensive. Sounds counterintuitive. He does not need more damage. He has Ardent Sensor, he is unkillable, but he's been able to snowball build defensive items to basically stick the landing and guarantee the victory.
It's another just principle of League of Legends, right? When you're ahead, you don't need more damage. You already do enough. Just build a Guardian Angel, because all you need is to survive.
Well, the Baron's not going to survive for very long if MVP actually turn onto it.
Now, Baron with some nerfs too, very easy to take down. And when you have a Master Yi that's this fed, well, it's just going to disappear. You don't even need Mountain Drake at this point.
And the premise that you're highlighting there is an important one that I think a lot of people miss. But basically the big takeaway is we see a lot of games where a mid laner against Malzahar falls behind and can't afford a QSS because he needs damage. This is the converse, where you're ahead, you got the damage, build the QSS because you're not losing damage to do it. The Baron has started, Yondu's not taking any damage. Are we going to see that big fight? Could there be a turnaround?
There we go, the Fiddle ultimate, the Ornn ultimate, trying to create space, but Yondu not able to connect just
Highlander's
yet.
almost over.
Take a look at the Master Yi, he's going on to Ignar now. There's the CC, Tarek ultimate comes in, but again, he's not able to get onto anyone just yet.
Really well kited, they're back in now.
There they are, they're going to re-engage here onto Yondu there, but he is going to get the Lulu ultimate actually to save Ian so that he can get away. But this is the first time we're seeing this fight not go according to plan. That's not going to end just yet. The taunt's going to come in onto Ian, and they finally get a kill onto MVP.
And now we have the counter example. If you can displace the Yi, his Highlander was wasted chasing. He could get no targets. The fight is now over. No flash to guarantee the first Q to get in there.
But
we're seeing a teleport.
They're going to re-engage here. We are going to have the TP from Orm coming in and using that blast code. The smite is not going to come in. The Cardinals with the double smite, but look at Yondu. He's going in onto Ares. He's going to get another kill, and he's looking for Ignar as well. Can he actually get the kill? The slow's going to come in. It looks like he cannot. So at least the Baron buff will survive onto one person.
Let's wait for the Requiem. It's not going to kill Yondu.
No, it will not, especially with this. Going to have...
It doesn't even get ADD.
Enough.
He gets the shield from the Lulu and the Bellows Breath to live. Awkward stuff there. He flashed away. I wonder if he ulted earlier when he would have got one pick off. But Yondu does end up able to clean it up. The Baron does go to BBQ. It's off the map. I think Baron for MVP, the game is instantly over. Maybe there's a little bit of life left for BBQ, but it's unlikely given that Yi added more kills.
I mean, you can see what happens when you're that far behind. You mentioned it, right? You need to have perfect kiting, and BBQ did nearly that. They get the Taric, but the re-engage is still too strong.
Here is the re-engage. Double smite on the side of BBQ does pick it up. So they were able to communicate that. Yondu gets the first kill. We were watching the top side. The bottom side is Yondu saying, I would love a Gragas, but sadly, he's disengaged from that. Certainly not the worst scenario possible for the side of BBQ. They did get the Baron. They did not get aced. There was still some things to take away there, but MVP now have that 3,000 gold lead, and the Yi, well, I guess the good news is he's going to be item capped soon.
I guess that's good news, Papa.
I mean, it's the little things.
We can see what happens, though, if the fight does extend, right? The Taric ultimate gets blown, the Highlander comes in, and it gets, you know, it runs out of time, and then it's like, well, where do we go from here? We already used our Lulu ultimate, too. Maybe Lucian can actually burst him down at some point.
The whole MVP team fight is Master Yi. Only person you need to look at. Might as well full zoom on the guy.
Yeah.
Everything is about him. So if you think about that, if he doesn't get to the fight, they don't win it. In fact, they might go even, but they certainly don't win it. It's all about Yondu. Smart Highlander timing, now level 16, duration getting longer.
Yeah.
Smart use of the Yi. It doesn't matter where any other of your friends is. All you need to know is, where is Yi? And that's the fight they need to select. But there is Gragas Ultimate. There is Taunt. There are a couple of things that can at least begin to stop. But with the QSS, maybe it has to be Cask or GG when it comes to these team fights.
Cask or GG. Ignar has been put in higher pressure situations before. We'll see if he can actually pull it off. But I think you do highlight another important point, right? If the Yi cannot engage, then it's very hard for him to do damage. And that's why the Ornn is also really important, because they have that really hard ranged engage, which is perfect for getting the Yi on top of you.
You think I was currently feeling uncomfortable because of how strong the Yi is. I'm actually kind of feeling the empathy for the Nunu here, who has nothing. He has nothing. Everything has been taken from this Yeti.
Nothing.
He has nothing at all. Could you have any less?
A ruby crystal, that builds into a lot of things, right, Papa?
It's just sad.
I mean, you look at the Taric, and at least he didn't have to go for a smite item, so he was able to get a redemption. But then you look at Nunu, he's got the Cinderhawk.
Why didn't he build a Targon's Brace? At least he could have got some farm there.
He's literally does nothing. Like, he just blood boils, and that's it. You're talking about Taric's job? Well, Nunu, I think he's got an even easier job.
I think Nunu's job hunting, though. I think Taric's happy with the job he has. He's like, I just need to, I'm getting paid great for this. Nunu desperately wants a role, but even the entry-level jobs are close to Nunu applications.
Nobody's looking to hire a big-ass Yeti, that's for sure. We'll see if he can find a job in some future games, but do have to deal with this one. We haven't really seen any action. The Gragas was the only one that had the Baron buff left available, and they weren't able to get a push off of that because Yi is still too damn scary. And so MVP will just continue pushing.
Max is a fear bot. His ultimate won't do any relevant damage, but not going to come over the wall. BBQ haven't lost their base yet, or even an inhibitor, so there is still things to defend. Karthus is adding on ability power and will already be at comical numbers. I actually haven't been able to spy with my little eye exactly the AP numbers he's getting to with Blood Boil, but maybe that's a thing for the future. The Lucian has a Phantom Dancer, which not going to save you from the Master Yi, that's for sure, but you understand where he's going from. Find a way to disengage the Master Yi ultimate. The Taric ultimate, I think you can probably fight through. The Master Yi, if he wastes Highlander, there is a team fight that BBQ wins.
That's the truth. I mean, it really does boil down to just that, right? It's when you have these two comps going against each other, I feel like it does simplify it down to a couple of very easy to discern and understand objectives when we do get into these team fights.
Takeaway from this game also is if you're one of our expected top teams, some interesting items we'll get to in a moment. If you're one of the top teams, you're Kingzone watching this, you're KT, you're SKT, now you know that both these teams are willing to play the Gouda cheese. They're willing to play the Camembert. They're willing to go for cheese. That's frustrating because you can lose a game to this if you lose a team fight and Master Yi gets 3 kills. Maybe you have to ban this until it filters through because this seems like the sort of team comps on both sides that won't be every game meta, but will be pull them out for a trump card to win a best of 1, to win a best of 3 outside of expectation. And maybe that's the scariest thing is we're expecting MVP and BBQ to be scrapping at the bottom of the table. Now you're going to have to put in some legit prep or waste a lot of bans on some of this stuff.
Here's the engage. You're not getting away from him this time. The Shen ultimate, not enough of a shield, and that's going to do it. They lost their damage. Where even is Karthus? He disappeared. He's not even here. He's up in the top lane, and that's it. You didn't even need the Orin ultimate. The Yi was able to get on top
Max
of you.
didn't get in there.
Max, what are you doing, man? You messed up big time.
He's sacrificing one for the cause. This game's over. How about some more kills?
Well, you mentioned Zhonya's. I suppose that'll help for just a couple of seconds, and that's going to do it. He's going to get the pentakill eventually. Going to get the stun.
No!
And not going to give it over to him.
Scumbag Taric.
And that's going to do it. MVP, they're going to win game number 1. Turns out the MVP of this one is Yondu on the Yi. Already going to call it. Down will go the Nexus. And that's going to do it. Game 1, GG, MVP 1-0.
The greatest strategic region in the world. Rotations came from here. We also get to be front row to the Fiesta. Beautiful stuff here from the first pick Nunu. And then we saw a Taric. Everything else fell into place. We loved the Nunu Karthus early game. Having a Karthus and a Lucian, surely that had to be good things. Then he got 3 kills, and the game was done, Valdez.
That was it. I mean, it put the nail in the coffin in the most literal sense on BBQ. They're going to have to fry this game a little bit harder to get out of this predicament. And I think in order to do that, you just got to ban Master Yi. I want to see Twitch Kale, as you were mentioning. Let's get on to the next tier of whatever this strategy is.
Hello, my name is Yondu. I'm level 18. This Nunu is level 11 with nothing. He's naked, basically.
So
he's revealed himself to be not very much. And then from there, well, Master Yi, he does his Master Yi thing. The game ends, very nicely done. And guess what? If you have a Fed AD champion, those turrets die, the game ends.
That's going to do it. I mean, those turrets, they also lost some HP. A small little thing in the patch notes you guys might not have noticed. But either way, we'll get back to the fun in just about 5 minutes. We'll see you guys then.
안녕하세요. 저는 킹전 드래곤 엑스팬 1입니다. 안녕하세요. 저는 킹전 드래곤 엑스팬 2입니다. 팀명 그냥 이제 해탈했어요. 막 처음에는 뭐라는 거야? 뭐 킹전 X까지야, 드래곤까지야 막 이랬는데 어떻게 불러야 할지도 모르겠고 그냥 어찌겠어요. 익숙해졌어요 그냥. 왜? 좀 잘하는 팀들이 밈 같은 걸로 쓰잖아요. 강한 팀이죠. 잘하니까. 강팀입니다. 강팀입니다.
자, 플레이 봐야죠, 플레이 봐야죠, 플레이 봐야죠. 아, 이거 크레이머가 오히려 카이머 플레이.
인터뷰였나? 뜬금없이 무대를 왜 만들었나 싶을 정도로 바닥에서
뭐 하는 거지?
이래가지고
아니 그걸 무대에서 충분히 할 수 있었을 것 같은데 왜 굳이 그쪽에서 했을까?
보이지도 않고
아 그리고 그 인터뷰 하기 전에 나왔던 영상이잖아요. 그 영상도 이 타이밍에
무슨 의도인지는 알겠지만 그건 아니었어요. 이렇게 얘기해도 되나?
Shahu is on his way for him.
Oh, that's straight onto play! Ball of the Forge God comes out as well as Killer Instinct. Royal never give up on your MSI 2018
좀 기대가 크면 당연히 좀 그런 게 있었던 것 같아요. 왜냐면은 스프링 때 너무 좋은 모습을 보여줘서 당연히 기대치가 많이 올라간 것 같긴 한데 좀 아쉽긴 한데 좀 성적에 비해 욕을 좀 과하게 먹은 감은 있는 것 같아요.
실시간 채팅들 보면은 굳이 저런 말을 안 해도 될 것 같은 상황인데 그런 말을 쓰는 사람들도 있고
말도 안 되는 소리 하고 있어. 국내에서 잘하니까 국외로 나가는 거지.
그건 말이 안 된다고 생각을 해요. 어쨌든 해외를 가기 위해서는 성적이 좋아야만 자격이 주어지는 건데
그게 그렇게 말을 했기 때문에 나오는 말이어서 어쩔 수 없다고 생각해요.
그래도 잘 본인 선수니까 잘 할 거라고 믿고
다신 이런 일 없을 거라고 얘기를 해주셨기 때문에 그걸 믿어요 그냥. 버스에서 안 내리면 되지. 어차피 넥서스 뿌리면 이기는 게임인데 안 내리는 게 어디야. 항상 좋으라는 법은 없거든요. 근데 안 좋았었다가도 좋게 올려서 결승은 계속 갔다는 선수니까
항상 그 팀을 위해 잘 했다고 저는 생각을 해요.
진짜 이 말 그냥 적폐디오라는 말 자체가 잘하니까 계속 같이 있었던 거고 팀적으로 맞으니까 계속 같이 있었던 건데 왜 뭐라고 하는지 저 말 자체가 뭔가 이상한 것 같아요. 폼이 안 좋았다고 이런 소리 들을 클래스는 아닌 것 같아요. 그러니까 뭐 비판은 받을 수 있는 직업이라고 생각해요. 뭐 어쨌든 승패가 있는 거잖아요. 그리고 뭐 어딘가 분명히 잘못된 점이 있을 거니까 비판받는 게 맞는 일일 수도 있어요. 근데 비난 이 수준을 좀 지켜줬으면 좋겠어요. 좀 그리고 현장에서 오시는 분들은 제발 쓰레기를 잘 버려줬으면 좋겠어요. 맨날 지나갈 때마다 줍는데
그 다음 경기 앞 경기가 아닌 뒷 경기 갔을 때 쓰레기가 있는 경우도 있거든요.
쓰레기는 버려주시고
저희 팀은 스프링 때 너무 작년 스프링 때 너무 험난한 길을 걸어서 이제 이 정도는 아무렇지도 않거든요. 그래서 좀 다 단단히 재밌게 응원해줬으면 좋겠어요. 현장에서도 좋고 뭐 좋은 글들 같은 거 올려주면 더 고맙고 그냥 어쨌든 응원할 수 있는 건 팬들밖에 없으니까 팬들이 다 같이 응원해줬으면 좋겠어요. 저희는 춤좀 팬들이었습니다. 안녕.